What's up, chat close, CCGaming, and today we're going to do another video for our beginner tutorial series on how to make a video game in Unity 3D. Today we're probably going to do change the spawning script. We might add in our mini turret, and then like I said, we're going to modify the spawning. And we might actually also do change weapons on a key press. So say if you hit the one keypad on your keyboard, it'll turn to the one gun, or I guess it'll be the 0 gun. But yeah, so we'll make key codes so it's easier to change weapons. A couple things to note in here. I went ahead and I did some more modeling and texturing, not modeling, texturing. I guess I modeled the mini turret over again. But I got a little bit better texture here, so I have the words and stuff like that going on now. And same thing with the mini turret. It's pretty much the same thing, but I re-updated and remade the entire turret pretty much. And all of these are using the same textures, they're just texture mapped a little bit different. And I've yet to texture map the laser. I'll go ahead and show you that texture in Photoshop. It's not terribly much different, it's just a side profile view of a mini turret, a bunch of bullets and a bunch of ends, and then kind of a texture of a ammo box, and then some metal. So that's that. Otherwise, I didn't change much else, if anything that I can think of right now. So let's go ahead and change how the enemy spawns. So let's go and open up our spawning script. So we have our spawning points, we have our enemy prefabs, and all of this stuff. So spawn, whether it's if we should spawn or if we shouldn't, which I guess we don't actually need. It's a temporary var, so we'll just go ahead and delete that. The round total, let's comment that out. We're not even going to use the round total anymore. Let's remove this check for the round total. So it's just always going to spawn pretty much. It doesn't matter because there's no rounds really. Alright, spawn speed we need, and next spawn we need that too. Alright, so now if we go ahead and save this, it should just spawn forever pretty much for what we just did. But we want this to be a float array. So let's go ahead and change that to a float array. And we want this one to also be a float array. Alright, and pretty much what that is going to be is this going to be hold all the spawn speeds for all of the numbers, and this is going to be the next spawn for all of the enemies, my bad. And then we're going to need one more, and we're just going to call it spawn, and that's going to be a boolean. A boolean array. So just like that, so we got our 5 arrays. So now what we're going to do is in here we're just going to check all of our spawns, and so we'll go for var I equals 0, I is less than spawn point, oh not spawn points, how many enemies we have. Well, I should view the spawn one. Spawn dot length I plus plus, and then we'll go ahead and run this. And if the next spawn of the I is greater than time.time, we're gonna spawn, and we're gonna pass along an int, and it's just gonna be what person to spawn. And then our next spawn, this will be I, spawn speed. Alright, and we don't want this always spawning, so we'll make our check for our spawn. So if it is true, then we'll go ahead and spawn it. That certain enemy type. Right? So now if we go ahead and to our spawn, as you can see, we don't need this random ID anymore because it's going to be defined by an integer we're passing through here. So we're just going to do ID up here, and that's going to be an int. Oh, yeah, just like that. Alright. And as you can see, we already have our spawn points in here. It randomly spawns it at a different spawn point, which is fine, and then it uses our ID variable that we passed. So if we go ahead and save this now, what's the problem? Oh, spawn. We have a function called spawn, so we'll just do undercase here and undercase spawn, just like that. Seems to be the problem. Oh, right here. This next spawn. Let's just it's gonna be 0 because we're only gonna be spawning the first type of enemy first. 18 spawn dot blank. Whoops. It's undercase. So now it should work out. Alright, so now if we go into our spawner items, we can see now we have these new variables. We have 2 guys each, so let's just put 2 in for all of these. Our spawn speed for the starting is going to be 0.5, and we'll put 1 in for this one. Our next spawn can be stayed at 0, and we can just minimize that. And we're only going to be spawning the first enemy first. So if we go ahead and play this, and we just delete both of these right away. We can see we're only spawning red enemies in a random area. So now if we go ahead and check mark this one, now we're going to be spawning these blue ones also on top of that. One thing to note is it's spawning a lot of them. Like this is still probably going to be really fast for the first. So we'll probably do like 1 and even like 2 maybe. And if we just go ahead and play this, so this isn't that bad. And now remember, every time we move up a milestone, we're changing the spawn speeds and stuff. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So we have our milestones in our player that we've defined in our milestones variable. And we're actually probably going to have to make a couple more milestones than just 5. So let's have our first milestone be at a point where you can actually, where you're going to get an upgrade, because it's going to be kind of hard to do anything until you get an upgrade. So let's just do like 20,000 to get the player kind of warmed up. And then let's go ahead and increase our minigun turret to like probably 50,000. And let's upgrade the cost for our first upgrades. This is it collateral? Collateral is very it's powerful. So we'll make that 10,000, and the spire rate will just be like 5,000. So a little less. Alright, and then let's just let's not mess around with the variables, because I'll probably do that off screen more, but that's just kind of how you would do it. But in our player movement script, go ahead and minimize all of these. Alright, is it the, nope, it's not upgrade. Alright, so right here in our tiers function, so if our running score, or just wait, if our running score is greater than score tiers, we're gonna go up the next tier. But right here, if our total score is more than our milestone, we're gonna increase the milestone, we're gonna explode, and we're also gonna change spawner. Let's have all the information on the spawn script. So we'll just go spawn enemy dot next level is equals to true. Alright, and now we're gonna go ahead and make the static bar next level in here, which is gonna be equal to false. Alright, so we don't need the player movement script anymore. We don't need it open anymore. So we have our static var. So now in our update, we're just going to check if it's open, or if our next level is true, we're going to do next round. And we can, that's going to be a function, and then next level would be false. Right? So let's go ahead and make that function. Alright, so we have our next round function. And then we need like a counter for our round, so we can just have it round, and then it can just be a private var. And we'll have it equal to 0 start off. So if we run next round, we're just gonna do certain if functions. So we're gonna change the speed, the spawn speed every single time. So we can just do for var I equals 0, I is less than, and we want to change all of the spawns, so we can just do spawn.length again and increase I by an increment of 1. So we want to increase every one, so we'll just go next spawn is going to be equal to round spawn. Alright, this actually won't work, so we're gonna just delete this 4, and we'll do next round 0 equals round spawn, and we'll just call it round. Alright, and for every enemy we're gonna have to have this, so this is just gonna be one thing we're gonna have to change. So this next spawn, oh, it's a spawn speed is what we're changing, my bad. Speed 0, and then we'll do speed, so this is for the speed increments for the first one and the second one. So we're gonna have to make these variables up here, so speed 0, and these are gonna be all float arrays. Alright, so we only have 2 for right now. Now what we need to do is when we want to start activating our second enemy. So we can just do if round say equals. So we don't want it to start spawning till say the second or the first, till round equals 1, which would be the second milestone it reaches. So if you start on the first tier, it would be the third tier. So if round equals that, then we're gonna do spawn one equals true. So we're just gonna make our spawns there. Alright? So now if we go ahead, at the end of this we also want to do round plus plus. And that should be all set up. So in here we have our, this is gonna be the same as our milestones. And so the first time it's gonna start at spawn speed 1, so let's put it down to like 0.9 and then like 0.8. We'll just increment it down by 1. See how that works. We can always change it. This one is not gonna matter until it starts spawning, which would be at this one. Or maybe not. Let's see. It could be round, so it'd be this one, it starts spawning. So 2 and then like 1.8, 1.6, and then like 1. Alright, so now if we go ahead and play this, and let's quickly just throw in here like a debug just to check if it works. Alright, so now you can see, let's go ahead and get to the next level. Excuse me. What did we set it at? Like 30,000, I think. So it's going to take a little bit. I'll pause the video. Alright, so as I was sitting here, I got an idea of how we can just skip ahead really high. And we're just going to go ahead and pause it. Collect one of these enemies, and where it says total points, we're just gonna like bump this up, and now when we kill that particular player, we're gonna get a lot of money. Alright, so it says next round. That's good. It looks like we went up 3 rounds, so it should be spawning blue now. It's gonna be a lot difficult, more difficult, I mean. So you can see I have to actually move around now, and yeah, this round you are gonna need upgrades. I'm just using the base gun, and it's too hard, so go ahead and buy some stuff. We can now see that it's going to be okay once you have better guns and more upgrades. I think how we're going to do like the difficulty levels and stuff is we're just going to simply have the drop rate go down, and maybe we can even nerf the weapons a little bit, which could be a possibility. Alright. If you want to go a step further, you could always make a variable that changes the enemy's health based on a round, and then you would just do the same process that we have here. Alright, so we can cross that off our list. Let's do changing weapons by key press, because that was kind of bugging me when I'm playing the game. So let's go ahead and open up player move again. And it's going to be in our move function. If I can find it, move function. This is pretty much all of our inputs. So now we're going to go if input, and what we're going to use, actually we can just copy all this. If we go ahead to the Unity script, we can just do input.key down, and we're just going to use a key code, my bad. So if we just go ahead and copy all this, paste it in, and we don't want the space key code, we actually want these. So numpad 1 through, I guess we have quite a bit of weapons. So key code, keypad 1. Alright, and if this is down, we want to change weapons to our current gun, is it? Equals 1 or equals 0, I believe. So you hit the space button, it's going to switch guns and switch meshes. So we're going to copy those, and we don't need switch guns, I believe. Let's go ahead and look at that function. Go ahead and mark them all. Switch score. Alright, switch guns, that just simply switches your guns, so we don't need to do that. What we do need to do though is for the other ones is we have to check if there's ammo or not. For the first gun it doesn't really matter. Oh, we'll just copy and paste one for now. So we're gonna, if we have ammo for this one, we want to go up. So if ammo 1 is greater than 0, we want to do this, right? And what, we have our normal gun, our minigun, our noob tube, that, and our laser, alright? So if we just go ahead and change these all real quick. Alright, so if we go ahead and play this now, if we don't get an error, go ahead and play this and bump one of the scores up again so we have some money. Right? And then we can just go ahead and we'll just we'll buy everything. You seriously don't. Oh my god! I thought I made it 1,000,000. Go ahead and redo that. That's can't do that. What is that? It's 1,000,000, isn't it? Alright, so if we go to store and now we buy everything. We're throwing an error because it doesn't know what to do because it skips so many milestones. Or the times thing I think is actually too high. That's why. So alright, so we have all that. We have all the guns. So now if we go ahead and hit numpads, they're not working. And I believe, I think I know why. That's just tears. If we get hit once. Oh, yeah, we overreached the milestones. But anyways, I think the keypads weren't working is because on my computer I'm not using a keypad. I'm using, I guess it's like it's a normal computer keyboard or laptop keyboard. So keyboard. See if I can show you a picture of what I'm talking about. It just has the keys on top. It just has this. It doesn't. Yeah, it looks like this more. It doesn't have this keypad over here, and I'm pretty sure that's the keypad it's talking about. On top of it, I'm pretty sure it's these. Let's go ahead and see if one of these work. I'm just gonna replace this. Oh God, I didn't change any of these two. So this would be 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna go ahead and check if this works. Alpha 1. So if I go ahead and play it now, go ahead and give me some more money. Alright. Just kill the right one. Store. Let's buy this. Change weapons. Which I need ammo. So now I can change weapons, and if I hit the 1 key, alright, so yep, that's it. It's the alpha. So what we can just simply do is we can just do or this. Alright? Oops. So copy all of this. Just like that. Alright, so either if you push the keypad or you push the alpha 1, we can do that. So let's just go ahead and copy this entire line. Paste it everywhere. And then re-change all of these. Voila, I finished. Alright, so now we can just give ourselves some ammo and check that everything's going good. 1, 2, yep, so we can switch between all of our weapons. So that works nice and good now. Alright, cool. We're gonna go ahead and make another weapon, and this weapon's gonna be pretty much the same as this MiniGun, but it's gonna be like an automated turret that you can put down. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up that file, my player file. And that's just because my texture solids are, I moved the file name and that's why it's not coming out. That's fine. Just undo textured solid. Alright, so now if I go ahead and hide these, whoops, we want them all hid except for turret 2. So now we have this is our minigun turret. So I'm just going to duplicate it and then rename this one, and we're going to call it MiniGun. And we can hide our turret too. So we just have this, and we're going to change this up a little bit and make our MiniGun stand look a little bit different, so it's not the same. The user will be able to tell the difference. So let's just get rid of all of this entire pole. Actually, let's just get rid of the bottom. And then go into vertice. And then let's make like a tripod looking thing. So how we can do that is we can just extrude this down again, fill it, and then we can just extrude certain ones. So it does not come out nicely. I was afraid of that. So now if we just scale this along Shift Z. Alright, and then we want to flatten this. So we can just delete those vertices, fill in these, fill in this, fill in those. Alright, and then scale these together so it's about the same size as those. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to grab them down and just, wow, this is Alright, we might have to do these all individually. Let's just kind of get the basics up and down Z working. So it's going to be about, what, that tall, I'd have to say. Add edge loops in them all. Let's rotate this one. And just get kind of a tripod look going on. This isn't really working very good, or as good as I hoped. But that's okay. You guys can learn from my mistakes. Alright, we can actually, let's just do this. Let's delete these legs. Fill those back in. And just make sure we like this one leg. And then we can just duplicate it. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. I think that'll work. So let's select all those points. Hit Shift 7, duplicate it. And then before we do that, actually, let's select this, a ring, one of these rings, if I can get one. And then cursor to selected. Select all of these. Shift duplicate it, and then we're going to rotate it around the point. And we'll just rotate it about there, and then shift duplicate it and rotate it again. Alright, and then let's just go ahead and we'll use the bridge tool, so we can just delete this face. Delete that face. W loop tools bridge. And that did not work out at all. What if we just fill in one and then do a W loop tools bridge? Nope. Alright, we're just gonna have to. Wow. It just crashed. That's not good. Alright. Yeah, it didn't save it. I'll get back to where I was, and then I'll do the video. Alright, so I'm back. I've never actually had Blender crash before. I think that was my first time ever having Blender crash in all the times I've been using Blender. So that's new. So let's just go ahead and select these faces again. And we're going to do the same. Oh, first do the shift selected. Shift duplicate it. And rotate it. Alright. And then let's just go ahead and I'm going to manual fill all of these and I'll be right back. Alright, so they're all filled up. It does kind of look funny, doesn't it? It's got like a tiny little base. So let's just select it all and see how well scaling goes. Hopefully it works pretty good. Alright. Scale X and Y. And that, I guess, is, you know, it's not wonderful. But it'll work. I can always come and fix it later. Alright, now let's unwrap these. So if we go over here into our unwrap, and I go ahead and put texture maps back on, we can see it's kind of all messed up, and that's because we need to unwrap these bottom ones. So let's go ahead and open up your image that your texture is. Mine is in player materials, and it's not there anymore because I deleted it. Not the right one. Not the right one. Can't open two screencasts, can you? Assets. materials, and then MiniGun. Blender doesn't open Photoshop, so we're just going to go ahead and save a copy of this as a JPEG. Right? And then go back in Blender and go ahead and get that. So now when we see this, looks a lot better. So now let's just go ahead and select all of our legs. All pretty much the new faces that I just made. So all of this needs it, this needs it. Right? And we'll just go Smart Unrewrap and scale them down and just put them in our metal. So there we go. Go ahead and save that. Alt unhide everything. Select it all. And then we'll just go ahead and export this to our player. Make sure selected objects and 50 and then just export. So let's go back to Unity here. And now it's all imported in. I'm going to go ahead and delete my copy so it can be so it can be pink again. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and make this all spaced out between 360 and 6 objects. So what's that? 360 divided by 6, 60 degrees. So I'll make them all spaced out 60 and I'll be right back when I get done with that. So I got all of those spaced out equally, and then we'll go in here and we'll make this one to our mini turret. We'll apply our MiniGun turret texture. And then next thing we need to do is change our store about script so it rotates at the right thing. Instead of 72, it is now 60. Alright. And our total guns is now 5. Alright. Let's see, what else do we need? Oops, this is 5. Let's see, store camera, that's all good. We're going to have to add a bunch of new variables in here. So if we go to the top, we're going to need upgrades and all that stuff for it. So this is all going to be 6. Alright. And now if we go ahead and find like this and mark them all, we'll know where we have to go. So store gun, just copy all this. Store gun equals 5, 6, 6. Alright, and as you can see in here, when you do the store about, it adds the store gun. So I believe that's everything we need. Let's hope to add in. Go ahead and make these variables because we are short on time. So name, these all can be empty, I believe, right? Ammo cost 6, 6. Gun name, so it'll be 6. Turret. Gun prices. We can just leave that at, let's just make it 100 for right now, just for testing purposes. Unlock guns will be 6. And we're going to do the same thing that we did for the barrels, just make it turret 1. And fire speed is also going to have to be 6, and 3 is fine for that. So now if we go ahead and play this, let's put up the console here, kill a couple people. Alright, now if we go to the store and we rotate around this thing, it looks like it's all good. We're going to buy it for 100. As you can see, there's no upgrades, and we can buy ammo for that. Alright, cool. Before I end this quick, let's change our ammo units to 1, and our ammo cost can stay at 100. Alright, this was CCGaming. I hope you guys like this. Subscribe to the series, and more will be coming soon. Every Tuesday and Thursday, for sure. But we do uploads in between those dates too. It just depends on the time and how busy we are. So thanks.